Hello there, my name is Andrew. I'm starting a new YouTube channel called Basic and By the Way, which is all acronym. Basic stands for Brothers and Sisters in Christ, and By the Way is by the way, which is what was referred to as the early church being the way. I really wanted to do something with film and ministry, and that is why I'm starting this channel, so I appreciate you being here. Primarily, obedience to God, and I've had a calling about this for a long time, and I've prayed about it, and somebody mentioned the other day that I should start a YouTube channel just reading the Bible without any commentary. A lot of my inspirations through photo and film, notable channels like Mike Malagi's, Wes Huff, Sean Ryan, Cliff Konecki, Ninjas Are Butterflies, Off the Curb Ministries. I used to go to Sunday school a few times with Zig Ziglar leading it. Pastor Josh Howerton of Lake Point Church, Pastor Philip Anthony on YouTube. I don't know what church he leads. My own personal pastor, my biological brother, to name a few. And right now, to kind of get things kicked off, I'm just going to read Jonah chapter 1 through 3, which has really been the inspiration since I was in Sunday school, but didn't really know how I was going to pull that off. It's kind of scary. Jonah was scared, resisted his call. I'll read the story, starting in chapter 1, verse 1. The word of the Lord came to Jonah, son of Amittai. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed for Tarshish. He went down to Joppa, where he found a ship bound for that port. After paying the fare, he went aboard and sailed for Tarshish to flee from the Lord. When the Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a violent storm arose that the ship threatened to break up, all the sailors were afraid, and each cried out to his own God, and they threw the cargo into the sea to lighten the ship. But Jonah had gone below deck, where he lay down and fell into a deep sleep. The captain went to him and said, "How can you sleep? Get up and call on your God. Maybe he will take notice of us so that we will not perish." Then the sailors said to each other, "Come, let us cast lots to find out who is responsible for this calamity." They cast lots, and the lot fell on Jonah. So they asked him, "Tell us, who is responsible for making all this trouble for us? What kind of work do you do? Where do you come from? What is your country? From what people are you?" He answered, "I am a Hebrew, and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." This terrified them, and they asked, "What have you done?" They knew he was running away from the Lord because he had already told him so. The sea was getting rougher and rougher, so they asked him, "What should we do to make this sea calm down for us?" "Pick me up and throw me into the sea," he replied, "and it will become calm. I know that it is my fault that this great storm has come upon you." Instead, the men did their best to row back to land, but they could not, for the sea grew even wilder than before. Then they cried out to the Lord, "Please, Lord, do not let us die for taking this man's life. Do not hold us accountable for killing an innocent man. For you, Lord, have done as you pleased." Then they took Jonah and threw him overboard, and the raging sea grew calm. At this the men greatly feared the Lord, and they offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows to him. Now the Lord provided a huge fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. From inside the fish, Jonah prayed to the Lord his God. He said, "In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. From deep in the realm of the dead, I called for help, and you listened to my cry. You hurled me into the depths, into the very heart of the seas, and the currents swirled about me. All your waves and breakers swept over me. I said, I have been banished from your sight, yet I will look again toward your holy temple. The engulfing waters threatened me. The deep surrounded me. Seaweed was wrapped around my head. To the roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth beneath barred me in forever. But you, Lord my God, brought my life up from the pit. When my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord, and my prayer rose to you, to your holy temple. Those who cling to worthless idols turn away from God's love for them. But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you. What I have vowed, I will make good. I will say, salvation comes from the Lord. And the Lord commanded the fish, and had vomited Jonah onto dry land. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah a second time. Go to the great city of Nineveh, and proclaim to it the message I give you. Jonah obeyed the word of the Lord and went to Nineveh. Now Nineveh was a very large city. It took 3 days to go through it. Jonah began by going a day's journey into the city, proclaiming, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. The Ninevites believed God. A fast was proclaimed, and all of them, from the greatest to the last, put on sackcloth. When Jonah's warning reached the king of Nineveh, he rose from his throne, took off his royal robes, covered himself with sackcloth, and sat down in the dust. This is the proclamation he issued to Nineveh. By the decree of the king and his nobles, do not let people or animals, herds or flock, taste anything. Do not let them eat or drink. But let the people and the animals be covered with sackcloth. Let everyone call urgently on God. Let them give up their evil ways and their violence. Who knows? God may yet relent with his compassion, turn from his fierce anger, so that we will not perish. When God saw what they had done and how they turned from their evil ways, he relented and did not bring on them the destruction he had threatened. So, in my life, I went to Sunday school. I was raised in the church, and by the time I became about 18 or 19, I had received a job, and it was outside of my city. I went there, and I thought I'd been such a good Sunday school and high school youth group guy that people put a lot of weight on me, saying that I was such a good kid. So I kind of turned and rebelled against that, saying that, trying to prove to them that I wasn't such a good person, that I was just a normal human being like everything else. And that's kind of been my life for a really long time. Up until about just a few years ago, when I started going back to church. Fell out away from church again. I was a drunk from the time I was about 19 to 35, with a little break in there for a couple of years. And I went to meetings for a couple of years after that. But still, I was trying to guide my own path and think that I knew what I was doing, when I was just lost, just as much as the next human being. A few years ago, I started going to church again for a while, and then the world stopped. So I would go on Easter every year, and this Easter I went to church, and then a couple weeks after that, I was motivated to start going to church again. And just a few days ago, someone told me that I should start just reading a Bible YouTube. And I kind of pacified it. I said to myself in my own head that, like, there's no way that I'm going to do that, even though that's what I felt drawn to. And then I was having a couple bad days, and yesterday I was having kind of a bad day. But I went out and got some new microphone kit, not even knowing if I'd have the courage to get out here and start shooting and actually do it. So I asked my brother to pray for me today. I asked my pastor to pray for me today, and the friend that suggested that I start doing this, asked them to pray for me too. So I'm out here doing it. And thanks for watching this introduction video. Stay tuned. I'm excited to see how it all plays out. I'm going to start just kind of reading like a chapter, maybe a passage, just to kind of help the kingdom. Pardon the airplane. Thanks for watching. Please, it would help very much to get this new channel off the ground if you could like, comment your stories, share this video with somebody in your life that needs to hear the word. Thanks for watching. God bless.